we're all hoping for the best here. A lot of the details you've heard, I mean, it's they're tough to stay positive, really.
Positivity is hard. Trying to focus on the scenario I have in my head, that she's stuck somewhere and she's just, just needs help, and we got to just go get her and bring her home. I know how these things sometimes end, and I'm just trying not to think of that. The media has been awesome. It's actually been a good distraction because it's been keeping me so busy. If I had to sit home and just twiddle my thumbs and wait, I don't think I could do that. So it's actually helped me.
I mean, I think one of the hard things for folks is when they're jumping up and down trying to get attention to an issue. Seems like we have plenty of attention here on this.
I'll tell you, I'm very fortunate. Given this situation, I'm extremely lucky because not only has, the authorities, the FBI, all the agencies that are helping out, all the task force that are helping out, but all the social media, the media attention. I mean, it's really hard to deal with, but it is needed. And I'll tell you, I haven't seen this type of attention on something like this, and I am extremely grateful. I'll never be able to repay the type of, the assistance that we've been given. I'm humbled by it, and it's hard to to understand, but I get on how lucky I am for that.
Your family's gone out to Montana.
Wyoming,
sorry. Why?
It's the last known place that we have. I mean, listen, we're not getting a lot of information, and rightfully so. I understand why. It is an investigation, but it's the last information that we have that's corroborated. So we got to start somewhere, and there's 2,500 miles between Wyoming and Florida. So if we start now, it's less we have to do when we pinpoint a better location. That's how we look at it. Is what if we get lucky, and we don't need Brian anymore? We find her, right now. So she's good. We bring her home. She tells us what happened, and we move on. So.
What do you think of Brian?
I don't. Right now, I do, and I also think of his parents. But anything that I say here is not going to help me out there. So that'll be later on. I'll let the courts and society judge them. I've already did my judgment. It's not going to change. So now I'm focusing on what matters.
What do you hope people do?
I just hope people pay attention. I hope people look. I hope, and I'm getting the help, and I know they're doing it, so I appreciate it. I just don't want them to stop until we bring her home, until we're able to do that, because like I said, I know before. I know I'm lucky to have this type of attention for this right now. And I'd hate to have that taken away because it's just going to make things that much harder.
Anything else you'd like to add, Joe?
I would just like his parents to understand, parent to parent, this is, a serious, issue, and I wouldn't wish this on them. No matter what I'm going through right now, I still don't wish this on them because it's that horrible, to deal with. So I don't even wish that on them now. But if the family members can, or aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, if you associate with the Laundries, call them. Ask them, hey, listen, what do you know? What's going on? We want to find this girl too. What's your son doing? If he knows anything, he should be telling them. And if you realize you're a family member, aunt, uncle, cousin, whatever you are to them, and you associate with the Laundries, if you work with the banks with them, if they try and buy a car from you, you try and go to rent a book from you, you should say no, thank you. You can turn them away, because this type of behavior is just it's cruel, it's heartless. If you did nothing wrong, and you genuinely did nothing wrong, and I'm not saying you did or not, I have no idea. I can't even ask you what you know. So the fact that I can only take this attitude as cruel and heartless. You should not try and associate with those people anymore, because you don't need that type of people in your life.
I'm trying to think what else. There was something I had. Oh, I know. The most important question. Talk to me about Gabby.
From a little girl, all right, so she was always artistic, always. I mean, from the start. So when she was about 9, I think she was 9. We were painting her rooms and stuff like that. We were redoing her room at my house, and she had this idea of painting the walls purple, like a darker purple, and then we got this bright fluorescent pink, in a can, and we put rubber gloves on, and we put our hands in the can, and we wung it at all 4 walls, all over the place. So the walls were almost covered. Like she was always into art. She was always into, experiences and having fun and just living life. And, up until the day that we lost her. So we want to bring her back, and we want to make sure she can continue that. And I can't express enough how relaxed and cool she is, and she's always trying to look at the brighter side of things, You can't fault someone for that. There's so much negativity in the world, and you turn to this beautiful soul, and she just sees the beauty in it. Like, you don't see people like that a lot. It's kind of probably one of the reasons she's got so much attention. It's because people know that she sees the beauty in everyone and everything, and that's awesome.
We've heard that, we've got every wacko coming out of the woodwork saying this and that she's, how rare, odd is it that she would not be communicating?
Yeah, listen, I've seen it online, hoax, and for I don't even know what they're called, tweets or whatever they are, right? Or likes, whatever they are. She's 22. She's not independently wealthy, all right? This hoax has gone on long enough. We can't find her anywhere. And we're looking, you know what I mean? So it's not like she's sitting in a hotel somewhere, you know what I mean? She can't afford it for that long. It's a month. So she's out there somewhere and she needs help.
Just as far as her not communicating with you.
Oh, it's never happened.
And what's going on, she would not purposely avoid you.
She hasn't gone 2 days, let's just say 3 days, because she's, it's in remote areas. She hasn't gone 3 days without contacting someone. Brothers, aunts, uncles, moms, dads, friends, someone. Because by now, we're 3 weeks in, right? So by now, she would have contacted someone, and they would have come up and said, "Hey, I just spoke to Gabby. She's here. Let's go get her." No one's come to us and said that. So she's still out there somewhere where she doesn't have access to communication, and we got to get her. So that takes focus on everything. Everything else with Brian, everything else with the laundries, that doesn't matter until she's back. When she is back in our home, we can worry about that stuff then. Until then, there's one goal, and one goal only: bring Gabby home. It's that simple. This is not a difficult thing to realize. And you don't do your Fifth Amendment until you're trying to hide a crime where you don't want to incriminate yourself or someone else. That's the only reason you invoke the Fifth, unless someone tells me otherwise. But I'm an emotional dad in an emotional situation, so that's how I'm seeing it at this moment. I'm a believer in the Constitution, and I know the Fifth is awesome for people. I get it. Sometimes it works. Right now, if you're innocent, you shouldn't be used. That's the wrong tactic to take. Now, I'll also say there have been 2 statements by the attorney, neither of which have those statements stated that Brian has no clue where Gabby turned, where she went, and has no clue how she disappeared, or that he has no clue, or he doesn't have any involvement in this. None of those statements state that. Why?